Well, hello and welcome or welcome back to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast with me, your host, Molly Watts, coming to you from a pretty perfect Oregon. Sorry, that's a few P's. Getting a little getting a little mic pushback on that, but it is a really perfect Oregon right now. It's going to be like it's been, I don't know, there's been all dry days and we were pretty hot. We've been pretty hot for the last few, which isn't as perfect, but on the horizon all week long, mid 80s, just delightful. And if you haven't been out to the Pacific Northwest, I'm telling you, summertime is the time to come, and Oregon is a great place to visit right now. How are you doing? How is your more dry July going? I'm having a great more dry July, and I'm excited about how I'm tackling the back half of the month. I told my coaching people, my Facebook group, I had kind of an unexpected day come up one day early this month. So by the 10th, I'd already had 4 days, including alcohol, and I am only going to have 6 for the whole month. So I had to pick and choose for the last 2. So now I've had 5 days. It's 7/14, and I only have one more day that I'll be including alcohol. And I've got to plan around all of that, and it's totally good. And I actually had this thought yesterday as I was going out, and I enjoyed a sparkling soda or whatever, soda water with lime. And I actually allowed myself to have a diet soda, which I don't usually like drink diet sodas, but I enjoyed one with a sandwich and it was really good. And I was like, hey, this is kind of a treat, right? So I'm having this, not having alcohol, and it worked for me. How are you doing? I hope whatever you're doing, remember, More Dry July is all about just prioritizing alcohol-free days. It's about increasing those alcohol-free days. If you aren't including any in your life right now, maybe adding 1, adding 2. And if you're doing it consistently like I am, it means upping your game even for this month. So for me, that means 25 alcohol-free days in July. Normally I have about 19, 20, 21 days alcohol-free each month, but this month, 25. And I'm excited about that. So again, however you're doing it, progress, not perfection. Meet yourself where you're at, small steps towards continuous improvement. That's how we create sustainable change. And this week, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what it means to, or things that I hear from people who are working on their relationship with alcohol, who are adding in alcohol-free days, and a story that that I hear quite often. But before I get to that, I do want to make an announcement for my friends over at Moderation Management. Now, Moderation Management is a nonprofit that supports people who are trying to change their drinking habits or change their relationship with alcohol. I am a volunteer for them, and Moderation Management has put together a Moderation Mindset Summit. It is coming up here at the end of July. It is happening on Saturday, July 27th and Sunday, July 28th. Saturday the 27th and Sunday, July 28th. And it is going to be really awesome. There's going to be tools that you can practice now and implement to change your relationship with alcohol. You can get your questions answered by moderation professionals. Like me, I'm going to be doing a workshop on mindset itself. You're going to have access to a library of 8 hours of recorded materials that you can use and revisit throughout your moderation journey. And it's all to support this very worthy nonprofit. You can go and register right now at moderation.org. That's www.moderation.org. And it's a great event. I really want to encourage you to sign up for it. It's a great way to support this nonprofit, and you are going to learn a lot. You're going to really move yourself forward, and I really hope that you will come and join me at the Moderation Mindset Summit, July 27th and July 28th, and it is all recorded if you don't come live. go check it out, www.moderation.org. All right, on to this week's show. So this is something that comes up for people, and they say it to me. They ask me, like, when they are working on changing their relationship with alcohol, they're going about adding alcohol into their lives. They're being mindful about it, and then all of a sudden they get this feeling of guilt when they are actually drinking alcohol. And so I wanted to actually do a podcast episode on how to still enjoy alcohol while you are cutting back or minimizing. Because truthfully, I hear about it all the time, and I really want to help you understand, at least from my perspective, what it means to have a peaceful relationship with alcohol, what it means to have your actions align with your long-term goals, and how we go about doing that without unnecessary guilt. And where does that guilt come from? So, the guilt, I believe, actually stems from really the societal narrative, from the recovery industry, from many sober-only communities, that the only way to be really, truly good, or to do it the right way, or to be clean and, perfect, is to abstain. And while I totally agree, and I've never said otherwise, that if you want to get really technical about it, right, the absolute safest amount of alcohol to consume is 0. There is no preventative action. There is no scientific reason to add alcohol to your life if you are not already drinking. And there are many reasons that it is beneficial to minimize it, right? But that precludes some of the reasons why you might want to include alcohol in your life that have nothing to do with the known risks associated with consuming alcohol in terms of physical health or psychological health, things like that, right? We have to be conscious of what the science actually tells us. And I'm not going to like blow that up out of proportion in either direction. I'm not going to encourage you to continue drinking alcohol if it's no longer serving you. And I am not going to tell you that you have to be completely 100% alcohol free or you're not doing it right. Our goal is not to demonize alcohol. And we really, again, while being mostly alcohol free is how I go about my life, whatever you choose in terms of how you feel at most peace is how you are going to want to incorporate alcohol into your life. Alcohol's use patterns, right? And how you are going to include it means that you need to ask yourself a very critical question. You need to realize and understand what your long-term goals are with regards to how much you're drinking. The reason that's important is because you're going to want to ask yourself, does the amount of alcohol that I'm drinking align with my current or long-term goals? Does it align with those? Because I talk about meeting yourself where you're at, right? Making a doable drink plan. And we want to start where we are and then work on continuous improvement. But those continuous improvement steps should be small, because we want to work on retraining our brain and retraining our stories around alcohol as opposed to just relying on willpower. So I want you to realize that if you are right now making a plan of how you are using alcohol, how you are going to include it, if you're making a plan ahead of time, making a doable drink plan, and even if that doable drink plan still seems like it's more than you ultimately want to get to, All right? It's more than your future self wants to be drinking. If you make yourself feel guilty about that, I guarantee you what you are setting yourself up for is an episode of over drinking even more so. It is not that it is not the alcohol that is causing you to feel guilty. It is what your thoughts are and how it's the thoughts that create that feeling of guilt. All right? It's because of your thinking. So we have to change the narrative in our brains about even doable steps, even about small incremental change. We have to get invested and see those as success, even when the amount of alcohol feels like it's more than what we should be drinking, right? So when you've set your goal to minimize alcohol and you stick to that goal, right? You've set the goal and you stick to that goal, you are actually succeeding. You are demonstrating mindfulness, self-control, and commitment to personal growth. These are things to celebrate, not feel guilty about. Even if that number is 3 drinks, 4 drinks, 5 drinks, whatever it is, whatever that number, if you have made a plan ahead of time, you have stuck to that plan, you have committed to that plan, and you are continuing to practice the questions. Are you asking yourself, why, is this true? Why do I want to drink right now? What is it that I am seeking? If you are continually doing this work, this is all really good stuff. And it is stuff to celebrate, not feel guilty about. So let's just say that you have a goal to limit yourself to 2 drinks on a Friday night, and you do exactly that. You've hit your target. You have made a plan. You have stayed true to it. You've enjoyed alcohol in a mindful way. And that, in my books, my friends, is a total win. I really want to help you enjoy the drinks that you are having when you do have them. So, one of the some tips for mindful drinking include, first of all, don't just focus on the drink. Focus on the experience. Look around you. Take in the sounds, the people, the setting. This mindfulness can actually increase your enjoyment while also slowing down your consumption too, by the way, which is also a good thing. So when you stay mindful, when you stay present in the moment, that helps you, again, achieve being able to enjoy a drink and also enjoy everything that's going on around you. Choose drinks that you really, now this is another tip, choose drinks that you really enjoy, right? Get a craft beer or a special glass of wine. When you are drinking less, you can and should be more selective. Let's not, we're not just throwing drinks back. We're certainly not trying to drink to catch the buzz, right? If you haven't heard me talk about chasing the buzz, I'll link it in the show notes. It's one of my favorite episodes. Another way to increase mindfulness or to enjoy alcohol while you are drinking it is to think about how your drinks complement the meal or your social experience. When you focus on the actual experience, it makes drinking not just for drinking's sake, right? And that is a really important distinction. Lastly, I really want to stay present, stay engaged with conversations. Alcohol doesn't need to be your main focus. Take yourself away from the drink and actually push your attention towards the people and the place around you. Push it out and it can already, the rest of the experience, the moment that you're in is going to be super enjoyable. And alcohol is just a pleasant addition. It's not, again, not the main focus of what you're doing. Another thing that's important in terms of reducing guilt around enjoying alcohol is that we have to really challenge the all or nothing mindset. And again, this comes from kind of the recovery sober industry, the narrative that we've always had around alcohol. But reducing alcohol consumption is not about perfection, it's about progress. The all or nothing mindset can be a real trap because it really does literally set us up to believe that if we're not completely alcohol free, then we're failing. And that's just not true. First of all, success in minimizing alcohol is going to look different for everyone. For some people, it might mean drinking only on the weekends. That's typically what I do. For others, it could be limiting to one drink a day. I know lots of people who are one and done, and that's just the way they do it. And for others, still, it might mean being alcohol free for extended breaks. I don't know if you guys heard about it or heard about this. There's actually like a movement of people who are doing just to globally reduce their alcohol use on a monthly basis. They basically do like every other week off and on. They do alcohol free, then they include alcohol, alcohol free, include alcohol, things like that. And that's, again, that's still staying mindful. That's a decision that is alcohol minimizing, and I'm all for it. Or you might be somebody who's just going to reserve alcohol for special occasions. 100% a great option. We really need to be challenging the societal narrative that says that the only way to be right or good or healthy with alcohol is to abstain completely. In an alcohol minimalist world, being good means being true to yourself. It means using science to guide our actions. It means having specific goals around how you are going to include alcohol in your life. And it means making conscious choices that align with those long-term goals so that you can live the life that you want to. If you've thoughtfully decided that having a glass of wine with dinner twice a week fits into your ideal lifestyle, then doing so is not just okay, it really truly is a positive affirmation of your own commitment to your own goals. And I really want to encourage you to remind yourself that incorporating alcohol-free days, drinking less, and still enjoying alcohol is a decision and it is possible. As you continue on working on your relationship with alcohol, I also want to emphasize the importance of self-compassion. You got to be kind to yourself. Recognize that when you are making conscious choices, working towards this healthier relationship, that deserves praise. That deserves attention. That deserves a little cheering. Okay? You cannot just keep going and glossing it over every single time. When you have a misstep or when you have alcohol and your brain's throwing out this thing like you shouldn't, and you've got alcohol in your plan and you stick to your plan, that deserves a atta girl, not shame on you. I want to dive into some practical alcohol minimalist techniques that can really help you overcome guilt and enjoy alcohol mindfully while you are continuing to reduce and minimize. Here they are. Number 1, I've said it before, I'm saying it again. Set clear and specific goals. Have a clear and specific goal about how you want to include alcohol in your life. This should include a number of alcohol-free days per week and a weekly drink limit. Most importantly, it should also include a list of many reasons That's what I call it, a list of many reasons, explaining to yourself and reminding yourself why this is your goal. And P.S., the list of many reasons is one of the resources I use in my coaching stuff. And it really is the thing that will anchor you when you feel uncertain or guilty about what you're doing with alcohol. Number 2, I want you to keep an open mind about the future. Be willing to see being alcohol free as a possibility for the future. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to aim for it now or ever. But if there comes a time when no amount of alcohol feels peaceful for you, allow that possibility to exist and feel confident and calm about it. This open-mindedness can be incredibly freeing. And I want to say, when I first started working on my relationship with alcohol, back then in the beginning, I could not imagine there would ever come a time when I would say, I'm just not drinking anymore. And I will tell you that now, 5 years in, I still like how I include alcohol in my life right now. It works for me. And I am open to the idea that there may come a time when I choose to be completely alcohol free for the rest of my life. And that's okay. That works for me. It no longer causes me fear. It no longer causes me that, oh my God, no, I don't want to. Don't take it away from me. That kind of feeling. Now I think to myself, you know what? I'm just open to possibilities. I'm open to the idea. And if I don't, and I'm, that's how I want to think about it. And I would encourage you to do the same. So the last one is in terms of really how you manage reducing alcohol and still being able to enjoy it in your life. I want you to work hard at separating your feelings from alcohol. What I mean by that is I want you to commit to not using alcohol to try to change how you feel. Instead, I want you to focus on learning how to create feelings with your thoughts. I talk about it all the time. This is really the skill set, the meta skill that I teach. It is a skill that takes practice, but it is incredibly powerful. When you can manage your emotions without reaching for a drink, you are truly, in your heart, an alcohol minimalist. Remember, my goal for you is not perfection. It's progress. It's about creating a sustainable, enjoyable relationship with alcohol that enhances your life rather than controls it. So the next time that you enjoy a drink that's within your plan, I want you to replace any thoughts, any guilty type thoughts, any shame-based thoughts with this one. I am making a mindful choice that aligns with my goals. I am in control and I am proud of my progress. All right, my friends, I hope you have a great week ahead. I hope that you will enjoy whatever drinks that you include in your doable drink plans. And if you are being completely alcohol free, like I am, I hope you enjoy that as well. Go check out the Moderation Mindset Summit at www.moderation.org. And I will see you next week. Until then, choose peace.